I'm answering all your questions about free energy. That's right, it's a community comments episode. Stick around. And we're back, and you might notice we're not in a usual setting. We're somewhere else, as we have been moving between studios before. Now we're at this completely other place, and I'm not gonna tell you this episode why I'm here. That's a teaser for next episode, but yeah, something very exciting is coming up. So yeah, if you're curious why we're at this different place, then maybe you will find out next episode. But today, this episode, we're gonna dive a little bit into what you guys have been sending me, and we're gonna respond to that a little bit. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this episode about free energy, it has been doing very, very well. It's the most watched episode on this channel, and I was very happy that I was able to do this episode with Johan. And yeah, you guys really appreciate it, and I really appreciated you guys liking it. So that deserves some further investigations, and yeah, there's too much was being said to just leave it alone. So we're gonna dig in. All right, so let's see what's the first thing we've got. Right, it's a Dutch comment, so let's translate that. Curious man, how did you come across this? Well, this is Johan, and Johan is actually, he's a fellow student of Professor Yang Kwai Lung. Yang Kwai Lung is a professor in traditional ancient Chinese Qigong and self-healing medicine, and I'm training with him. And Johan is also a fellow student, and we came across each other, and we started talking about this subject, and turned out he knew a lot more about free energy and over unity devices than I knew. So yeah, it sparked my interest because I'm also very curious about it, but I don't have the knowledge or the research that he has. So yeah, we decided to just get together and start talking about it. And so that's what happened. All right, next up. At the turn of the last century, when water was supplied to every household free, many homes had water-powered electric generators that hooked to the kitchen sink to supply power for their household appliances, such as electric irons, vacuums, and toasters, which could be bought for $1 or $2 via mail order. Well, Gator, who has written this comment, is actually right. I had no idea about this, but yeah, there's actually in the 1900s, there were these kind of motors, and there's actually, you can see an advertisement for them, and you can see a picture of what they look like, and they were hooked up to the water supply. So you would get water, and with that water, you would actually get energy from that generator. And these pictures, I actually took them from solar.lowtechmagazine.com, and it's a website that's run on solar electricity. So if you're typing this in your hotbar and you're not able to visit, then you know why, because it might be down when it's night or something. So, but anyway, lots of great information. So if you're curious about this and about the history of it, I recommend you check it out. I'll put a link down in the description if I don't forget it. So yeah, check that one out. All right, next up we have Saber, and Saber actually left 2 comments, which I really like because it helps out the algorithm. He said, first one up is, this video is underappreciated. Thank you for making it. Well, we're doing this with a labor of love, so you're very welcome. And next up he said, and this was about my comment about if we have over unity devices, if we have free energy, then I said we can greenify the desert. And he responded to that and he said, You can't bring greenery to deserts because deserts provide sand and help make fertile soil for forests to be able to exist. For example, the Sahara blows tons and tons of sand to the Amazon, which helps the soil. If you removed the Sahara and replaced it with greenery or solar panels, like what some people want, it would potentially make the Amazon into a desert due to the lack of sand and fertilization of soil. This might not be 100% correct on how sand helps the soil. Well, actually, Saber, you're kind of right. It's actually the sand might help the soil. It's actually, a way that minerals get transformed to the atmosphere, and it's actually in some places when the sand gets blown off to the desert. There's you can actually sometimes find it on the windshield of your car. And in even some parts, I've even seen videos where that sand is magnetic. So yeah, there's definitely something up with that sand, that it's that it can provide something, and yeah, especially for plants who might need it. However, this is not what I meant. So of course, I have a very big heart for nature, and the last thing that I want to do is I don't want to delete beautiful ecosystems that function in themselves in this way. And of course, cactus have every right to exist out there, as would have a rainforest. So I wouldn't plea for destroying natural ecosystems that have developed over centuries and have become something beautiful in their own right. I think they are ecosystems that should be treasured in that way. However, what I'm meaning by saying that we should greenify the deserts is mostly that I think we should combat desertification. And that looks something more like this. So here you see a map, and you can see the places that suffer from soil degradation. And for instance, if you look to China, right, there's a lot of soil degradation happening because, the reason for most of these issues here is farming. So look, for instance, to South Africa, or for instance, into Mexico. There's a lot of places where the natural environment was not able to house the type of farming, the exhaustive agricultural practices that we are putting on that land. That land was never suitable for it. And even the places where you look towards, like for instance Brazil, where it's very orange, where they're cutting the rainforest, underneath that rainforest is the same Sahara sand that you will find in the Sahara. So that cannot be the solution of how we want to rule this planet. So what we need for that soil, if we want to regenerate it, first of all, we need a whole lot of green mass. We need topsoil. And that topsoil often has been eroded. And because of that erosion, no new topsoil is being regenerated. There's no trees giving new leafage and foliage that will drop down, that will house new topsoil. And so therefore, once that landscape has been eroded, it will not regenerate on its own anymore. And if we want to reestablish a greenery in those places, then we will need to grow trees, for instance, with deep pen roots that will go deep into the soil, that will get the minerals and the nutrients that that plant needs, and it will grow up into the leaves. That leaves will fall down, and that will generate a new type of topsoil that will house all kinds of fungi and little critters that will eat from that, and that will, we will build up a new ecosystem that way. And that is a labor that needs to happen on this earth if we want to continue living on this earth. So yeah, that's in that sense I really see a true purpose for these over unity devices by desalinating water, because often what happens now, wherever people are starting to greenify new parts in like a desert, like there's this guy online who's growing a desert forest. Often what they do is they use well water, so they dig deep inside the earth. They use the water that is often there's the cleanest water that's out there, and they're using it to grow trees so that eventually when water will fall, it doesn't evaporate directly into the atmosphere. So you need water to grow something that will sustain water, so the topsoil will kind of become like a sponge. So this is the idea in which I'm seeing this. So hopefully that is clear now. All right, let's see what else we have. So we have Nelson Silva, and he says, I see no free energy on any of these systems. To get hot and cold water, you need energy to heat and cool the water. It takes lots of energy to boil water. If you need hydrogen or methanol, you need lots of energy to make these. Solar panels and battery still much better and simpler than any of these solutions, because you get energy directly from the sun and then store in a battery to run basically anything. Solar panels are so cheap and becoming even cheaper. Batteries have also dramatically decreased in prices, and new batteries are using cheaper and environmentally friendly materials like iron, sodium, magnesium, water, air. Still love the channel and the ideas here. I believe in 0-point energy, and it will be great when it comes online. Well, that's a fantastic comment. There's actually not a whole lot that I disagree with. I mean, as long as we are still dealing with this energy system that we're in right now, then yeah, definitely solar panels are one of the options that are actually useful if you want to sustain yourself. However, there's a lot of footnotes that I would place with that, because I don't believe in massive fields of solar panels, which the previous commenter said, for instance. I also think that solar panels are mostly becoming cheap because they're being requested everywhere around the world. However, we have no real way of dealing with how we break down those solar panels. There's a lot of cobalt in them, there's a lot of harmful materials, and you know, if a solar panel breaks, it might leak into the soil, which is not very environmentally friendly. So a lot of caution has to be used with solar panels. And I also think that even though a lot of over unity devices and 0-point energy devices are not available on the market right now, I think it's very close around the corner for consumers to have a generator that would work in such a way. So even though I agree for a large part, let's say like 80% with Nelson, I think we should have the open-mindedness to look towards the future and see what is around the future and how we can stimulate that in any way, and how we can open up our mind, because I don't think that this type of energy is only about supplying us with limitless amounts of energy. I also think it's about a mindset, about how to stop living into a system that is based upon depletion, that is based upon depth, and that is based upon shortages. Because I think we need to turn that entire thing around, and we should live in a world that is based upon abundance, that is based upon limitlessness. The sky is the limit, if you want. Yeah, that's what this channel is about. So next comment is user by user. There are, I mean, find a good username. There are many, I believe, magnetic motors, so many. Buckling coils, HHO generators, heat engines, static chargers, plasma batteries, and many lists in history. Well, that's actually true. There's a lot of devices that we did not talk about. I spoke to Johan and I said, Johan, let's talk about the ones that are the closest to us, that have the most potential to break out open into the world, because we really need this technology and we need to talk about the ones that are so promising for the future that we want to live in. And so that's what we limited ourselves to, because there's a big list, and Johan has a lot of information about a lot of those. And we could talk about all of them. However, I really wanted to talk about the ones that could provide me and you in the future. What are the devices that you should keep an eye out for, that you should maybe look out for, or maybe if you want to invest in something, or maybe if you want to build something or something like that, then these are the things that you should know about. So that's really what we wanted to focus on. By the way, I spoke to Johan and we're definitely gonna make another episode. So I'm glad you guys like this. So keep an eye out for that next episode, because who knows what we're gonna talk about then. All right, next up is Gateau Fjord. Gateau Fjord. Gateau Fjord. I'm sorry for butchering that. Yeah, he says, this is how many people see it. At least people that are technically interested. But now Andrea Rossi has got a big investor that will produce the ECAT in a 350,000 square meter factory or facility. So, 2025, I think, will be the year everything changes. If customers can buy a 3 kilowatt ECAT and use it, it would be over 90 to 100% of the energy you need. I'm a Norwegian, and so we might use a little bit more than average because of the climate. The only thing that is the problem is the quality of the equipment. While they are building the facility with all the equipment, they should run 10 to 20 ECATs for 1 year continually, so they know the quality of the equipment inside it. Great stuff. I would like to meet Frank Ackland together with all the other people with the same interest. Greetings from Norway. Well, thank you very much, Gateau. I have no idea if that's a Norwegian pronunciation of your name, but great stuff. Also, interesting point about the equipment. It should last, and you're absolutely right. However, at this point, I think the idea is mostly to get the thought out there, because there's so many people who have no idea that this is actually around the corner, and we need the whole paradigm shift to happen. So even if the equipment fails halfway or isn't really proper when it comes on the market, or there's so many opportunities out there for people to just investigate it and to just embrace the concept that it is possible, that I really think it is a good thing that it should be out there. And I really like the 3 kilowatt idea, and I found a picture of this. It's on ecatworld.com. This picture actually originated from Andrea Rossi himself, and I think it's a prototype that is soon going to be out there in the world. So for all of you naysayers, something like this is in the making. So if everything holds up, you might actually be able to order one of these prototypes. Then you could have 3 kilowatts just running endlessly, just to power whatever you need. So that's a great thing if that could happen. All right, next up, Andrea Damiani. Very interesting topic. And by the way, nice shirt. Thank you, Andrea. I hope you like this one too. All right, KF. Always interesting to see and hear of people believes in free energy. A bit of a religion, like preppers. Yeah. All right, so you have comments like this. If you're gonna have people trolling in the comment section, I mean, it helps out the algorithm. So I'm hearting everything, all of the comments, and I do it with a lot of joy. I mean, if people want to troll, they troll, and you're gonna find naysayers everywhere. And so also I think we should recognize that if we have a troll on the stage, we should applaud the troll. So there we go. This could not be a paradigm shift episode without Druid Secret as our main sponsor. I'm so happy to work with them together. druidsecret.com. It's a fantastic website with a lot of good products, and I wouldn't be promoting them if I wouldn't be convinced that they actually have a superior quality to the things that's out there. If you're buying your CBD oil, if you're buying it at a local grocery store or any just an off-shelf brand or anything like that, this is the superior quality product that you want. If you have been taking something you feel like, oh, it's not working for me, it's not helping me with my sleep or whatever, try druidsecret.com. Use the code Paradigm Shift. You get a 5% discount. You're also helping out the show, and this is the product that will actually help you get rid of pain if you're suffering from any kind of arthritis. I can see in the YouTube statistics that we have some people of older age, or if you're having trouble sleeping because of a back pain or whatever, or perhaps you want to give your missus some relief from their time of the month, then you want to try the CBD oil. It's not only the CBD oil that they have lots of good products. They have lots of products when it comes to mushrooms. They have the lion's mane, which will help you get a boost for your brain. They have the blue lotus, which is like an ancient Egyptian secret, which is very interesting. They have some vaping equipment, so if you're into that kind of stuff and you want to get some higher minded experiences, then go check that out. Also, a personal recommendation from me is the HHC oil. The HHC oil is fantastic. Nowhere else have they got the HHC molecule stable. Druid Secret has the HHC stable in a consumable form, 2 or 3 drops a day, and you have a fantastic day. You have a creative, relaxing, mellow out day. So can also be used recreational. So if you want to try that out, go to druidsecret.com, use the code Paradigm Shift, get that 5% discount for your whole shopping basket. If you have over more than 100 euros of shopping list, then you get free shipping. So go over there and see if there's something in there that you might want to take. Let's continue back to the episode. All right. Then we have Ethos Demersal. Ethos Demersal. What is the link to Evo Labs? And I responded to him, it's for inventors who wanted to secure the technology of their inventions for the future of humanity. And then he responded back to me and says, I'm an inventor. Well, that's fantastic. I hope that he registered his invention, and I didn't hear back from him anymore, but I also said, like, if you want to showcase your inventions or whatever, like, you're always welcome in the show. We'll schedule a meeting online or something like that. And yeah, I want to know if you're an inventor and you have something out there that should be known to the world, then yeah, this is a platform where you can all make it known. However, I cannot provide any security. If you need that, then I recommend that you go to evolabs.io and you make sure that your invention is secured for the future of humanity. However, I clicked on his YouTube channel and I saw this. So I have no idea what's going on here. I can understand a little bit, like it looks like an induction cooking plate or something like that. And he has three hot irons for I don't know what the irons are for, and like the spraying on something. I'm not a technical person, but I do know one thing: if you want to spray something, you spray it like this. If you spray it like this, it doesn't work. So spray it like this, Evo, and then I don't know what this does, but if you click a little bit further on in the video, you can actually see that the lights that he has there, they turn on. And I don't know the power sockets out there, but for instance, now he's turning it on and you can see the lights go on. I have no way of verifying any of this, and I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea why he's spraying stuff. It might be hydrogen for all that I know. I have no idea. So if any of you guys know what's going on here, please type something down in the comments. Or Ivo, if you want to explain yourself what it is that you're actually doing, then I'd be more than happy to see what's going on here. So let's see. By the way, this is a YouTube video on his channel, and there's a transcription of what is actually under the video. It was in Spanish, I believe, and it says, energy generated by resonant inductive coupling using electromagnetic induction furnace as a transmitter coil and as a receiver coil. 4 flat pancake coils with the normal non-bifilar configuration show in figure 1 of the Tesla patent. And he actually he linked an image of the Tesla patent, and that's the patent right there. So yeah, I guess it has to do with induction, and I'm very curious to know how this works and if it works. And yeah, if any of you guys know, then write something down in the comments. All right, next up we have Mr. B.F. Gray. Suppressed for millennia my free gold creating machine. Pour in garden dirt, crank the handle, and out comes gold worth less than the soil that it came from. So the gold is worth less than the soil that it came from. That must mean that he has very valuable soil. So I don't know if this is a troll, but I mean, if you have a gold making machine, which would be phenomenal. I mean, unless if you're like living next to a gold mine, or like in a riverbed deposit where actually gold is in the river deposit. Yeah, then I'd be curious to see how that works. Same invitation stands for you, Mr. B.F. Gray. If you have a machine that makes gold and you want to showcase it and it works, then be my guest. Contact me. All right, next up we have Dodgy Git. Don't forget to check out The Land of Chem, The Pillars of the Past, and Luke Caverns. It will soon align for the better of humanity, if allowed. Great work, guys. Keep it up. Well, thank you very much, and I couldn't agree more. So yeah, these books are very interesting. These are the ones that he recommends. The Land of Chem by Jeffrey Gruff, and The Pillars of the Past, which is written by Charles Ginenthal. Very curious books. I haven't read those. However, I am very aware of Luke Caverns, and yeah, I mean, what a great name to have. Luke, that's a great name to start with. But then Caverns, and he's like an explorer, and yeah, he's like his passion is to one day become the Indiana Jones of the Mayan world, and he has lots of interesting videos on his YouTube channel where he goes out to the undiscovered ruins that are out there in the Mexico jungle, and bypassing all these drug gangs and all these people who have shady business into the jungle, and he goes out there and he just looks for all the undiscovered stuff, and there's lots out there still. So yeah, very interesting channel to see. A lot of good presentations. So yeah, definitely recommend him. And yeah, great suggestions, Dodgy Git. Keep them coming. Next up is another recommendation, which is by Middle Path. And he recommended a video by the Y-Files, which was named Forbidden Tech, Free Energy, and Anti-Gravity. And he says this has a lot of the technology that is talked about in this video, plus some more. And yeah, I agree. I'm a big fan of the Y-Files. It's a nice show. They don't need any recommendation from me. They're a good channel, and they're growing very quickly, very fast, and a lot of good production quality. So yeah, I'm enjoying that very, very much. However, I do want to say that some of their episodes are, I should phrase this differently. For me, this channel is more about the entertainment value. So it's very good if you want to be entertained. However, it doesn't always do the best job of portraying a truthful reality. The main focus is mostly about the sensational aspect of it. And I think that can sometimes get us into a ditch. And so I think we should be truth seekers and see what we can find out. However, that's not a criticism of what the channel's doing. I think in what they're doing, they're fantastic. So I definitely recommend you check them out. But also, you gotta keep your hand on the pulse. Lucas Hadding, he says, the dog is listening. Lucas, the dog is always listening. Even now, the dog is listening. It's a great dog. It's a fantastic dog. I love having her around. Spencer Rogers says, can we build and test any of them ourselves? No, obviously. Well, actually, you can. You can build a Thunderstorm generator. This is a picture of Alchemical science in which he explains how it works. And he built a whole website in which he explains how to build one yourself. So if you're technically savvy and you have the right equipment and you can actually put it together in the correct way, then you can build one. So, I mean, don't speak for anybody else, Spencer. Talk for yourself. Try to figure it out and see if you can build one, if you dare. Next up, we have Milton Milfred. He says, by converting hydrogen to energy, you're losing 50% of the power. Why? That's an excellent question, Milton. I looked it up for you, and this is what I came up with. It has to do with conversion efficiency. So, fuel cells. Hydrogen fuel cells typically have an efficiency of around 40 to 60%. Meaning a significant portion of the energy is lost as heat during the electrical chemical reaction. There's the combustion. Burning hydrogen in an internal combustion engine is less efficient, often converting only about 20 to 30% of the chemical energy to useful mechanical energy. So there you have it. It's heat. So if you want to warm a room, if you want to get warm and cozy, get a hydrogen cell. All right, next up, we have Charles van den Burg. Delusional, unfortunately. Well. Thank you so much for commenting, Charles. Please leave another comment. All right, we have Gavin McMounsey. Great stuff, guys. Thanks for all the excellent conversation and helpful info. At the time index 1:11:25-ish, you guys were talking about Greer's disclosure project broadcast getting jammed. And I don't know if you guys subscribe to his YouTube channel, but he was live streaming earlier today with updates about Black Ops dealing with exotic propulsion and DEW weapons, and the stream got cut right into the middle of a sentence where he's about to name some specific facilities. By the way, DEW weapons are directed energy weapons, such as lasers and all kinds of other stuff, like all kinds of energy that they can fire at you. As I had noted in a comment response to Johan in a thread on the Corbair report, it was 11 a.m.-ish, and he writes this on the 21st of December 2024. I was watching a live YouTube feed with Greer where he was updating about some intel on active op where supposedly law enforcement will be sent to a specific USAP site to incarcerate rogue military people using the exotic tech for racketeering operations, and the feed got cut mid-sentence. The live video also disappeared simultaneously from Rumble. It was pretty spooky, and it did not seem like a random glitch considering the videos disappeared from multiple platforms at the same moment. Did either of you guys see that? Well, I didn't see that. However, I am very aware of Dr. Greer's work, and I think it's fantastic work that he's doing. The Disclosure Project is definitely something that's making advances very slowly, and I don't have enough knowledge about how the intricacies of how it continues. However, I think it's very important that we do this. By the way, if you guys want to know more about Stephen Greer and you want another episode about that, leave a comment down below, because I have some interesting things that I could say about his theories, and especially with everything that's happening with the so-called drones. Put something down in the comments and let me know if you guys want to see that, so I will put some extra work into it. If this is actually happening with the cutting out of the live stream, it could very well happen. There's no reason why it couldn't happen. Just remember that you guys are the collective memory of this. A lot of things could happen. This channel could even be cut out, although I don't think we're important enough yet. However, we all should remember that these kind of informations are being spread to us so that we can be aware that we don't have to be afraid of anything like this. We are the people who have perhaps less knowledge, but we have the numbers, we have the ideas, we have light in our hearts. So yeah, with that said, don't be afraid of anything that might upset you, because yeah, there's definitely light at the end of the tunnel, even though you might not be able to see it. All right, a little bit of a link of Dr. Greer's work. I recently made an episode about UFOs. This was a Dutch episode, which was this one. And for those of you who can't read Dutch, it says jet fighter seeking UFO, and this is a story that happened in the 1970s, 1974 to be precise, in the Netherlands, in the place where I previously had my studio. And there were two guys who were, well, they were little boys back then, and they noted down everything that was seen. And for a month, there were all kinds of UFOs seen in the sky by multiple people who all lived there, who were not fantastic, who had the capability to distinguish an airplane from something that moved with seemingly anti-gravity properties. So they were very able to make the distinction. And one thing that was very interesting that they saw is they saw something that looked like a silver boomerang, which is, yeah, a very interesting thing to be able to see, especially in that time. I'm still looking for people who want to volunteer on the translation. So maybe if you're a person that does a lot with AI or a voiceover. So if you're someone who's handy with that, then please shoot me a message so this story could also get internationally known by people, because unfortunately not all my guests, they speak English. However, we did get a comment on this, which was of course also, it was a Dutch comment. So I translated that and it said, good questions. Did they take pictures of each other at those moments that they were observing the sky? They were observing the sky. If they had cameras, it's special, and maybe someone from the group took a picture where these two gentlemen or others, then still boys, are on it. For example, looking up, that they wanted to have that as a memory for later. Or people outside of the group enjoyed this interview. Well prepared, I think. Calm, taking time, showing genuine interest. Well done. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the comment, and thank you for the compliment. Unfortunately, there were no particular photographs of those UFOs. There's drawings of what it looks like. There's drawings of what the path was that the object in the sky was taking. One of the guys, he had a lot of different notebooks of what he saw. but there's no pictures. So yeah, we have to use our imagination with the descriptions, which is unfortunately the case with a lot of UFO sightings. You know, it's understandable, especially in a time when not everybody had a camera in their pocket, which is of course what we have today. It's understandable, and with that in mind, it shouldn't be dismissed. It should be noted as something that is relevant in the UFO file. So with that said, I've come to the end of this episode of Communications of you guys. I always enjoy reading those, and I always enjoy communicating those back to you. Very interested in what you guys are thinking, and I really hope from this on we can build out that community that's interested in that paradigm shift, because the paradigm shift is happening not only on the over unity devices or the 0-point energy or the anti-gravity or the gravity control or how you want to call it. It's happening on all kinds of fronts. It's happening on the spiritual side. I recently had an interview with a medium who is channeling a lot of information for the future. I also have a lot of topics about our ancient history that we are starting to uncover, and that we start to uncover that our history is way, way older than we think that it has. Lost civilizations, which is implying that we are also so much more than we think that we are. It's an uncovering of a lot of information, which is inspiration of this channel. There's lots of things about regenerating our earth, about abundance, about how we can live in systems that will thrive us as a humanity. So we're out here so we can report on all of these technologies and these ideas, and we're gonna be on the cutting edge of the new world that's out there, and that's why we're the paradigm shift. So if you enjoy this kind of content, please check out our other videos, even though they might not be the subject matter that you might be interested in right away. There's lots of interesting things out there, and I can see them all coming together, and that's why we're doing this. So with all of that being said, I thank you guys for watching this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, we'll see you next episode. Bye bye.